For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dennis Bush. I will be your host today, and you will be my guest. Right. I'm the host, you're the guest. So if there's anything that I can do for you today, please see Betsy. That's right.
The Disney doll.
That's right. We're going to have some fun today, hopefully. But Betsy Day, some of you do know Betsy. Betsy is co-facilitating the program with me today and runs around like a maniac for me to make sure things are ready for presentation. We're going to use a lot of symbolisms today, a lot of Disneyisms, and I'm going to tell you shortly why Disney is the organization that we're modeling ourselves after in terms of building our service model. A couple things we want to do this morning is first to let you know that you are in the pre-staging area. This is not where the main presentation will occur. This is pre-staging. You are in what we call Q. Okay? Do we do the same thing in our hospitals and our health facilities? I'm going in for, an outpatient study. Where do I go? Registration. Then where do I go sit? In a waiting room. I'm in waiting, right? I'm in queue, waiting for the main event to occur, right? What happens when I go into the waiting room? I sit and read the People magazine from 1992, right? What happens at Disney? You are in queue, you are in waiting. Here's a little secret. When you go stand in line and it says 15 minutes from this point, don't believe them. It's only 5. They do that strategically because, they build your expectations. It's going to take 15 minutes. What do you do when you get in line? 15 minutes, ready? Time it! And then you get there and say, it was only 5 minutes. Man, this place is pretty good, right? So some of the strategies and techniques that we're going to talk about today, some of the Disney stuff that I'm going to share with you, are these strategies and techniques that hopefully we'll be able to implement in your business units. Okay? So you are in pre-staging. We're going to be here for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. No, really 15 minutes. And not a Bush 15 minutes. I know Joe's going to say, your 15 minutes is more like 20, right? And then we're going to move from here as quickly. I'm going to teach you this. This is the Disney point, Disney. We're going to move from this area as quickly and safely as possible through these doors to the main presentation area, right? And that's where we'll be for the remainder of the day. So you're in pre-staging. We'll move from pre-staging into presentation area in about 15 minutes. All right, why are we here? Some of you may ask. I'll tell you why we're here. Recently published from Mr. Murray's office, K2000 update. I'm only going to focus in on this segment of K2000. The organizational performance strategy. E1, Kennedy will assertively implement the high-performance culture that is defined by 9 work behaviors. We know that. We use it every day. That's part of the culture, driving the culture. Kennedy will implement DMAI performance improvement model across the system. That's in place. We're using it. You remember when we used to say QA? What would I do? Say QA again, and I'm going to haul off and punch you, right? No QA. It's not quality assurance. It's performance improvement, DMAI, process systems improvement. Why is that important? You're going to hear later on today when we talk about not the Disney model, but Kennedy model in delivery, how important it is to have good systems and processes behind customer-friendly frontline people. All right? So process systems improvement is a key element in driving higher performance in the organization. E3, Kennedy will design and implement a comprehensive customer service model using the principles of Disney service model. Disney service model, not Nordstrom's, not FedEx, Disney. Okay? So we're not going out seeking, searching, and finding other kinds of organizations to model ourselves after. We've chosen Disney, so Disney is it. So we'll be using, again, a lot of Disneyisms today, a lot of Disney comparisons, pulling the strategies, the techniques, and let me tell you, that's one interesting place. It's well-calculated, well-planned organization. We'll be pulling those strategies over and using them here at Kennedy. E4, Kennedy will advance information systems technology and services by aligning information systems to support the IDS. Now, that goes back to systems process improvement. I could be the most customer-friendly person on the face of the earth. Just right out there, so friendly, but to service you, I need to go back and go through 15 freaking screens in this computer system to get the data that I need to service you. So, with an information systems support, I can now be more customer-friendly to you because I have a system, information systems, to support my capabilities. With me? I'm going to ask you that all day long. Are you with me? If you're not with me, you got to stop me, all right? So information systems technology, extremely important. Are we moving forward with information systems? Mr. Wasku? Like, yes. Right. E5, Kennedy will implement human resource systems that improves the talent pool, expands education training programs, defines work in terms of outcomes, aligns compensation. So afternoon we're going to talk about how to hire the right people. I'm going to give you the crystal ball. Well, I'm going to show you the crystal ball. I'm not going to give it to you. That's a training program that you're going to have available to you sometime in the fall. It's called More Than a Gut Feeling. And it is the strategy by which you can use as you go out to interview potential new hires so that you get the right person. Because this model talks about hiring the right person. And we'll talk about that this afternoon. I'm going to show you the crystal ball. I'm not going to give it to you. Show you the crystal ball and how you can, I can almost guarantee that if you follow these strategies, you're going to hire the right person. First time, every time. Training programs. In the afternoon, we'll talk about delivery, some of the training programs, video lecturettes, as I call them. That's a Bushism. These are 1-hour training programs, video enhanced. We roll it in 15 minutes. We bring your staff in, 15-minute video on phone skills, on how to take care of difficult customers. 15-minute video. We shut down the video, and then we debrief. We just get your staff involved in conversation, and then we throw a little pixie dust at them, and we send them back. With me? All right? So it's 1-hour training video lecturettes. Bring them in, give it to them, right? Throw it in your face, man. 1 hour back online. All right? Because it's hard to get staff, offline for long periods of time. So we try to design these programs so it's in segments and chunks. But we'll talk about that this afternoon. So anyway, the reason why we're here, K2000, strategic direction. Okay? So for those of you who got up this morning and said, why am I going there? I have no idea why. That's the reason why. Here's the Kennedy service model. Last June 19th, we were here on the 3rd floor. Anybody who was here? Okay, we had a couple people here. June 19th, 50 frontline people, couple managers here, 3rd floor, Disney Institute. My friend Gwen Birch came up from the Disney Institute in the morning, and we went through the Disney model. This is Disney's service model. They call them guests, we call them customers. They call it service goal, we call it performance goal. They call it setting, we call it environment. They call it delivery, we call it delivery. That model, basically, was built by us. This model here, okay, we added the associates in the middle. That was an add-on. But this was built, not by me, but by groups of Kennedy associates. Okay? In the afternoon of that session, after Gwen presented Disney, we got our groups together, and we're going to talk about some of the activities of those groups today and the outcomes of those groups in terms of building our performance expectations. So we'll spend most of the day going through these elements. As a matter of fact, we'll spend the entire day going through all of these elements. We're going to touch on each element in a little bit more detail in some, less detail in the others. Now, when we were here back in June, one of the things we talked about was this mysterious formula. One of the things that Gwen sort of pitched to us was that Disney doesn't, create magic by magic. It's well planned, well calculated, it's strategic, it's well thought out. And how do they do it? By creating exceptional experiences. They do it through their culture, through their environment, through the performance of their associates. That is hiring the right people, training them well, good systems and processes behind them. So I'm going to tell you a lot of stories today that'll bring these things to light. Lots of hard work, practice, practice, practice. This is not something you just pick up and then go back and forget. It takes a lot of hard work, and you got to stay on top of it. Disney has no secret formula to creating exceptional service, but they do have something called vision. And I think that's what we have here. With this service model, the model that we've created produces the vision for the organization. Now, why can I talk so much about Disney? Would you say that I'm a Disney advocate? Disney tie, Disney watch, Disney... No, I'm not showing you my underwear. Joe wants to look... I know you wear them. Yeah. How do you know?
You told me.
Okay. You got to stop standing next to me in the bathroom right there. The other reason is I'm a Disney graduate. That's my picture with Mickey Mouse at graduation and my graduation cap. I know it's hard to kind of see it. I have my graduation cap. If you come to my office, I have my graduation cap with a little tassel on the side. Oh, shut up, Rick.
I was going to ask you that with you next one, Rick.
Are we separating these guys as we go? We're going to separate some of you. That's me. That's Mickey Mouse. And Mickey Mouse, I found out later, was a woman. I don't know if you knew that, but always a woman, Mickey Mouse. Not always. Most cases, Mickey Mouse is a woman. Anyway, so I spent a lot of time at the Institute in the last year, probably about 6 times back and forth, a couple day trips to Disney, just to strategize with them and pick their brains as well as they picked ours. They are using our model as their sample model for healthcare as they roll out their healthcare version of the Disney model. Of course, they're out pitching, making tons of money at other health systems based on the work that we've done. So it's been a great experience for me personally, but a lot of the strategies and ideas that we're going to talk about today are the things that I've gained in my trips to Disney that I'll be bringing back to you today. A couple of Disney things that I picked up that I kind of like, and we're going to do some of these things today, is this term dynamic tension. Dynamic tension. Do we have tension in our organization? Oh, excuse me. Okay. Well, maybe we need to channel it a little bit better. And the way that Disney does this is through, they call it dynamic tension. Disney's a very visual organization. That's why I kind of like them, because I tend to be a little visual, kind of a, no? I'm kind of a visual kind of guy. But they look at the organization in two sides. The designer side, that's the creative, imaginative side, and then there's the operator side, the business, discipline side. So Joe Curry was here yesterday, and I looked at Joe and I said, Joe, I want to, creative side, I want to build a monorail system between the 3 campuses. And Joe Curry looks and says, from the operating side, oh yeah, like where are you going to get the money? Okay, which is an appropriate question, an appropriate answer. But what creates this dynamic tension? For example, at Disney, when they built Disney, someone said, you know what, how are we going to get the guests from Magic Kingdom to Epcot, now MGM? Well, we need to build what? A transportation system? We need to build a monorail system, says the creative side. The operating side says, where are you going to get the money? I don't know, but we got to create value for our guests, so we got to find the money someplace, all right? So that tension goes on. The story that Disney people tell is an old story about Walt Disney and Roy Disney. Roy Disney was the operator side. That's his brother. Walt was the creative side, right? So the dynamics of the Disney organization in dynamic tension is when Walt Disney was walking to Roy's office, right? They were going, oh boy, Roy has summoned Walt to his office. We're having some financial problems. When Roy walked to Walt's office, because now it's Walt's office, everybody's going, oh boy, we're going to get into some exciting project now. You with me? So we need to create some dynamic tension. And why? It's the maximization of the energy generated by discussion of different diverse work groups. And I think we've done a good job in the organization the past couple of years, bringing diverse people together in work groups, different thoughts, different ideas, different ways of looking at the world, creating some dynamic tension. We need to channel that dynamic tension where? To meet the customer's perception. Sometimes we sit around in work groups and we get dynamic tension going on and we forget the most important person in the mix, and that's the customer. What are we trying to accomplish? Create value. Create value for guests, customers, patients, family, friends, participants, whatever our customer base would be. And sometimes we lose sight of that. Disney's nailed that one. They sit and they say, all right, what can we do to create value for the guest? Let's create some dynamic tension. Okay? Kind of a deep term. Something I'd like us to seriously consider when we're sitting around in work groups and having some heated discussions. Especially for me, because I tend to be on like that imaginative side there, the creative side. So it's always nice to have the balance on the operator side, because if I had my way, we'd probably be bankrupt. We'd be spending so much money that, and of course Joe Curry shook his head. I see your budget every month, Dennis. Attention to detail. Attention to detail is another one that Disney does a really neat job of, and it's another concept I want to pitch to you today, because I want you to pay close attention to the attention to detail that I and Betsy and others have done here for you today. I mean, we've been obsessed, like to the point of being here at 5:30 in the morning and leaving at 10 o'clock at night to prepare for the next day. Obsessed, fanatically obsessed with attention to detail. Some of the Disneyisms that I'd like to present to you. Hitching post. How many of you have been to Disney? More than once? More than 5 times? More than 10 times? More than 15 times? More than 20 times? More than 25 times? Close to 30? My 7-year-old's been there 12 times, poor little kid. So we go there quite frequently 2, 3, 4 times a year. When you walk down to the castle, Magic Kingdom, there's hitching posts. They're painted green. That's where they take the horses and they wrap the leather thing around the hitching post. They repaint them every night. They strip them and repaint them every night. Do you think those hitching posts get that worn every single day by just wrapping a piece of leather around that they have to strip them and repaint them every single night? As the average guest comes in, as you walk down, are you that attentive to detail that you're going to look at the hitching post to see whether it's freshly painted green paint? Yes? No? Huh? You are now. You are now. 23 karat gold. 23 karat gold on the pagoda going to Epcot. It's like 60 feet up at the very top. 23 karat gold paint. Why would they go through great lengths to paint 23 karat gold paint at the top of the China Pagoda? 23 karat gold on the carousel, the horses, as you're riding around, as your kids spitting on the thing and, you know, jumping up and down. That gold on the mane is 23 karat gold. As you go through Cinderella's castle, when's the last time we went through Cinderella's castle? When you go through the castle, the murals. Do you know there's a mural on the side, a little tile mural? Have you ever stopped? No, it's like, come on kids, we got to get to Space Mountain. Come on, come on, come on, come on. As usually people just rush right through there. But every time you go back, as a frequent flyer, what happens? You got it nailed. See, here's the secret. When you get into the Magic Kingdom with your kids, you don't run in. What you do is you go around and you go up and you get on the choo-choo train. See, that's my dream. You see, we have aspirations in life. My wife and I are going to retire in a couple of years, and I'm going to be Lorraine's laughing. I tell her all the time, I want to be the choo-choo driver. That's what I'm going to do when I retire. I'm going to be the choo-choo driver. But anyway, so you get in there, and you run up the steps, and you get on the choo-choo train, and you go around to the back end of the park, right, Magic Kingdom, and you get on Runaway Train, Flume Ride, and then you walk through the back, you go to Space Mountain, and by 10 o'clock, our day, my family's day, is done. Because we just hit the big stuff, right? Now what do? We walk around and look at what? We pay attention to detail. So now we stop in Cinderella's castle. Geez, now what are we going to do? Should we get on the monorail and go to Epcot? No, look at this mural. Oh, look. Hey, look, the stepsister, red face. Hey, kids, remember the Cinderella story? Red with what? Red with rage, right? And, oh, look, she's great. Green with envy. We stand there for 15, 20 minutes looking at the mural because we've been there so many times. So attention to detail. Why is it important to attention to detail? What we're going to talk about today is for repeat customers. That's the name of the game. Building loyalty, repeat customers. Their expectations do not go up. They just move to more detail. They move to more detail. Show you a quick video. See if you know what movie this is from.
You mean to tell me that you could have taken your hand out of that cup at any time?
No, not at any time. Only when it was funny.
Attention to detail. Disney's strategy and what they tell their cast members as they get into projects is create a good idea, build some dynamic tension, and go out and bump some lamps. Get a good concept, create some dynamic tension, create value for your customer, and then bump some lamps. With me? So take it to this second, third, fourth level of attention to detail. Because as we experience Disney more and again, we're going to look for more detail. When's the last time you went to your family physician? You got out of your car, right? And you got out of your car and you walked up the steps to go into the family physician's office. Did you pay attention to the weeds? Oops. Did you pay attention to the weeds? Landscaping? Did you? Did that build some perceptions? No? Sometimes? No? Pay some attention to detail next time you go to your family physician's office. Look at the chairs. Are they contemporary? Are they old? Are they ripped? Are they torn? Is the wallpaper peeling? Attention to detail. What's the attention to detail build in perceptions in your mind? If this office is dirty, then maybe the equipment might be dirty. So it's an important concept that I'm pitching to you this morning. I want you to think about it throughout the day. I'm going to lay out a lot of stuff for you, but you got to get those little synapses going up there. You know, get the brain going and think about how you can take some of these ideas and apply them back into your business unit. All right, let me take a few moments and just tell you a quick story about me. Many years ago, in the early 1970s, I came from Hahnemann Medical School. I went to Hahnemann Medical School. I was one of those A-type guys, right out of college, right into Hahnemann Medical School, 5-year program, in there, really focused on the clinical, technical stuff. I couldn't wait, so I had to get out, went into the PA program. So I was one of the first crop of physician's assistants in the country in the early 1970s, coming out of Hahnemann, worked in a small town in upstate Pennsylvania called Union City. Anybody hear of Union City? 30 miles, oh, you did, true, okay, 30 miles south of Erie.
Yes.
Oh, boy. There you go, there you go. Real small town, little hospital there, 60 beds. I think it's a nursing home now, but little hospital. My job was to drive around the countryside in my maroon 1971 Monte Carlo. You're laughing, so that means you know what a 1971 maroon Monte Carlo looks like. Big front end, right, with a Landau roof. Oh, boy. That was a big sucker. Now, in the trunk of the car, I had anything and everything you can imagine. Splints, surgical equipment, zappers, you name it. Trunk of my car, I had everything. Forceps. In the back seat of the car was the medicine cabinet, with all the drugs and medicines in. And I drove around the countryside, going from home to home to home to home, taking care of all of the people, mostly elderly, that couldn't get out of the house. So, get a mental picture here. 23-year-old guy, right out of this accelerated program, learning how to technical knowledge, clinical knowledge, taking that knowledge into skills. That's all I was, working with 3rd, 4th year residents, not with students, but this is a 2-year program, man, crammed in. You're with the residents, right, learning this stuff. 23 years old. This is, man, I'm ready to conquer the world. I'm going to cure the world, man. I got all this clinical, technical skills. And here I am, driving down Farmhouse Lane. Doc Bush, they called me. Here comes Doc Bush in his maroon Monte Carlo. And out of the fields comes daughter, son, cool hand Luke off the tractor, right? People coming out of the farm, out of the barns, taking care of because here comes Doc. He's driving to come take care of Grandma. Because I'm going to take care of Grandma. So here, you are Grandma?
I got all of them.
Oh, my God. I'm taking care of Grandma. Here I am taking care of Grandma. I got all this clinical, technical skills. Daughter says, Doc, can you tell me about Grandma's diabetes? Wait, shut up a minute, will you? I'm taking care of Grandma, man. I got all this clinical stuff. Son says, hey, I have to wash Grandma. Wait, will you just wait 1 minute, please? I'm taking care of Grandma. So I learned something early on in my life, in my career, and of course I have to give it a name and give it some structure. It's called the technical service connection. I learned something early on in my life that there's 2 sides to what I do. The clinical, technical stuff and the service stuff. I know, we do need to talk about Grandma's diabetes. We really do. And we do need to talk about her diet. Let me examine Grandma, and then we're going to talk about how to wash her, how to move her the appropriate way so you don't hurt her hip. We're going to talk about that. And as a matter of fact, family, stay here because I'm going to do my examination. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some blood, and then we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about Grandma, service side. Ready? You with me? Do we have some staff out there that are technically competent but are lousy at the service side? So part of what you're going to hear us talk about today is, as you go back in your business units, is to pull these 2 connections together. The technical side is the what side. McDonald's, food, Jiffy Lube, oil chain, Rosenbluth, vacation, travel. Okay, these are the technical competencies. What is Disney's technical competency? Entertainment. Magic Kingdom. What is the Magic Kingdom? It's an amusement park. That's all it is, right? The Magic Kingdom is an amusement park. It has a roller coaster. It's called Space Mountain. They just put it in a building and make it into complete darkness. They've just taken it to the next step. But it's an amusement park, right? Their technical competencies are rides and amusements, attractions, right? What's their service competencies? Disney. Service competencies. Speak up. Come on, gang. Friendly. Can you read? Friendly. Pleasant smile. Caring. I've done it for you, gang. Sympathetic, right? Greeting. You've been to Disney before. Are these the competencies that they display to you? What's Kennedy's competencies? What are our technical competencies? Come on. Healthcare. Technical competencies. Wellness. Come on. Nutrition. Right? We have technical competencies. All right? You know, at Disney and the Magic Kingdom, from 11 o'clock at night to 7 in the morning, there's 40, count them, 40 guys. Here I am. Here's my wrench. Space Mountain. This is all I do from 11 o'clock to 7 in the morning. gonna tight the wrench and take the wrench and tight the bolts on Space Mountain. That's all I do all night long. What's the technical competency that we're displaying? Safety, right? Do we do preventative maintenance? Should we be doing preventative maintenance? Should we? Are we? All right. But why does Disney go to great lengths for safety? Okay? Because that's one of their technical competencies. Should it not be one of our technical competencies? All right. What is Kennedy's service competencies? Service competencies. What's Kennedy's service competencies? Okay. What else? Can you read? So for those of you in the room saying, Bush is talking about this Disney stuff. Disney, man, Disney's Kennedy's Kennedy. Disney is entertainment, Kennedy is healthcare. I don't see the connection. Do you see the connection now? So, yeah, Disney's competency is entertainment, attractions, but they still provide the same technical competencies as we do. And the service competencies are identical. Identical. All right? So if there's still skeptics in the room, see me at break in the little punching room over here. No, I'm just kidding. No, then that wasn't very host of me, was it? Service, technical service connection. So think about that, and it's in your toolbox. Betsy this afternoon will be sharing with you the service coaches.